Hello, and welcome to Sir Coach Shows Off Pathfinder 2e. This video is another one of the archetypes that I've put together for 2e, the Magic Jack. So, many people know the saying, Jack of all trades, master of none. But you know how the saying actually finishes? Better than a master of one. So, since you've learned that, you have decided to focus your efforts on studying all forms of magic instead of just becoming a master of one of them. You want to become the jack of all magic. So hence, the Magic Jack. So this is an archetype that's available starting at level 4. It's uncommon, so between that and the fact it's homebrew, make sure to get your GM's approval before using it. What's the prereq to get into this? Well, you have to have at least one multi-class dedication feat that grants you spells. So, wizard dedication, witch dedication, druid, cleric, bard, whichever. Any of them grant you a spell, gives you access to this. Now, normally you have to take 3 feats in one of those before you're allowed to take a different dedication feat. But this one supersedes that. So you do not need to take 3 feats in your multi-class spellcasting archetype before selecting this one. Now, if for some reason you had taken some other archetype that was not a multi-class spellcasting, that would not supersede that aspect. So, be careful with that. Now, benefit of this. It's level 4. You gain the benefits of basic spellcasting feat for every multi-class dedication which grants you spells. Alright? So keep that in mind. It gives it for every one of them. And you might think, that's really awesome! Because then you don't have to worry about taking the basic spellcasting feat for each of your different archetypes that you end up choosing. But there are a few caveats to keep in mind. First, you cannot select another dedication feat until you've gained 2 other feats from the Magic Jack archetype. Standard. You may ignore the restriction to select at least 3 feats from any multi-class spellcasting dedication feat before selecting any more dedications. So that rule supersedes it in general. And the odd one. You may not select any feat from a multi-class spellcasting archetype beyond its dedication. Any feat that you already have may be retrained into a different feat appropriate for its level that you receive that feat. Which means you will never be able to take those feats that give you the feats from those multi-class classes. So you can't get a level 1 or level 2 wizard feat. You can't get a wizard feat half your level. You just cannot get it. So now, what does the actual basic spellcasting feat do? We'll talk about that at the end. I'll give a quick example and show it over from Archives of Nephis. So after you've taken the basic, you have access to Jack of all magic. It's a level 6 feat, and you're able to do it once per 10 minutes. Okay, fine. So usually it'll be like once per combat. You may cast any number of spells, so long as the total number of actions to cast those spells is 4 or less. Each spell cast this way, sorry about the missing S, must be from a different tradition. So you can't cast 2 arcane spells. You have to cast an arcane and then a divine, or arcane and primal. Or you can do arcane, primal, divine, if you have a couple of 1-action spells. So each spell cast still uses up a normal spell slot, but essentially gives you an extra action once per combat in order to throw out some more spells at a slightly faster rate. Beyond that, there's Magical Breadth. What does this do? Well, it's level 8. You can cast more spells each day, increase the spell slots you gain from each multi-class archetype feats by 1 for each spell level other than your 2 highest spell slots. So, all of the multi-class archetypes have this available, and this is just going to give you a lot more spells all at once. But again, you're not going to be able to take any feats that benefit those classes directly, but you will have more of your spell slots to use. And then, level 12, as you probably would expect, you can take Expert Magic Jack. So this gives you the expert class spellcasting feat for all your multi-class dedications. But this one requires you to have at least 2 multi-class dedication feats that grant spells. So you have to have Wizard and Sorcerer, or Sorcerer and Witch, or whatever combination you choose. But you have to have at least 2 dedications. Combination of all. So when you're using, you have to have the Jack of all magics feat, because this upgrades that. This allows you to use it twice per 10 minutes instead of once. So twice per combat. And if you manage to make it to 20th level, it automatically upgrades to be able to use it 3 times per 10 minutes. So that should be a quite useful boost so you can get a few more spells out. Then 18, what a surprise, you get master spellcasting feats from your dedications. But again, now you have to have 3 multi-class spellcasting dedication feats. So you're really putting yourself all around. And then at level 20, if you want to spend the feat on it, when you do the Jack of all magic special action, remember it costs 3 actions, instead of getting 4 spells actions worth, you can now get 5. And keep in mind, you can do this 3 times per 10 minutes if you have taken that upgrade. So that is the Magic Jack archetype that I have put together. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Archives of Nephis to see what those basic spellcasting feats do. So the basic one, you get at 4th level, which is what it's available. You get a 1st level spell slot. Yay. Automatically at 6th level, you get a 2nd level spell slot. And then at 8th level, you get a 3rd level. Great. Expert, you can't take until 12th as for normal. But this ends up giving you a 4th level, and then a 5th, and then a 6th. And then the Master ends up giving you a 7th, and then a 10th or an 8th at 20th level. So you won't have 9th or 10th level spells using this archetype, but you'll have potentially multiple 8th level spell slots from all of these different traditions. So this is one of those archetypes where, I want to be able to do a little bit of everything with magic. Might not be perfect with all of them, but you can do it. So hopefully you find this interesting. And if you do, there's going to be a link down in the description for you to copy over the PDF and use it for your own game. And if you really like it, please leave a like, subscribe. I'm hoping to put out a lot more content in the near future, and I'm always looking for feedback. This is Sir Coach signing off.